Everybody's watching. We're going to begin this morning with the eyes of the world on the Vatican, where thousands are gathered as 133 cardinals decide who will be the next pope. So we've already seen the black smoke coming from the chimney at the Sistine Chapel this morning. That means, we all know what it means, no pope yet, but we're all waiting. Tony and CBS News senior correspondent Nora O'Donnell leading our coverage from Rome, and they join us now. All eyes on the chimney, guys. Good to see you. Good morning to you.
Yeah, that's right, Gayle. Everybody is watching, but everyone is still waiting as well. We've been tracking the mood here, and we've been feeling the shifts. There was anticipation leading up to the smoke, then brief disappointment. People maybe need to catch a flight, but always, always, always a certain amount of joy in this whole process, even with 15,000 people in the square since early this morning, a light rain earlier, and some shifts in the weather. We had cheers, in fact, as the smoke appeared. Not cheers for a new pope, no, but cheers for the moment, it seemed. Cheers for the history of it all. Nora, this crowd is really enjoying its role in the process.
I know, and the Cardinals are now at lunch, and this is no ordinary lunch. They are likely having important conversations about the way forward. In fact, Pope Francis actually wrote in his memoir that it was at this point in lunch in 2013, on the second day, that they started these conversations that were getting serious, and he was getting signals about the consensus about electing him. So this is key. So there will be as many as 2 more votes this afternoon.
Yeah, that's right. And 2 more votes means 2 more opportunities, of course, 2 more chances for the faithful and the simply curious to watch for the smoke. All eyes, once again, will be on the chimney, as well as, and here's a modern touch for you, screens that have been set up in the square so everybody has a view. Everybody, of course, waiting for the white smoke. That is the signal to the world that a new pope has been chosen. A great joy for the world. A crowd of 45,000 watched last evening, longer than expected, into a cold at times Wednesday night. They saw the black smoke emerge. It was about 9 p.m. We were checking. They were all standing there in St. Peter's Square for hours and hours, long after the doors of the Sistine Chapel were slammed shut.
Yeah, it was a little bit cold out here last night. Now, inside the chapel, no lobbying, no speeches, no cell phones, as the cardinals, like the many conclaves before them, have vowed to keep the proceedings secret. Now, that secrecy extends amongst the cardinals themselves, as they are encouraged to actually disguise their handwriting as they cast their vote. It took a little more than 3 hours for the cardinals to vote yesterday. Part of the reason, we're told, is that there are just more cardinals than there have ever been, and the meditation delivered was 50 minutes long instead of the 15. Now, the last 2 popes, Francis and Benedict, were elected after 5 and 4 votes, respectively. So, if history repeats, we could have a new pope today, so you got to stay tuned to CBS all day long.
Yeah, all day. The Italians are hoping for a primetime pope, and they may get one indeed. As you mentioned, Nora, though, every cardinal took a vow of secrecy in this process. They did it yesterday, and yet, as the world waits for the news, some of the world's gamblers are betting they can make a little money on what's going to happen next. So we wondered, what does the church say about all this new pontifical betting? And is there any chance the gamblers actually know something we don't? Maybe don't bet on it.
All over the city of Rome and inside the little shops and restaurants around the Vatican, it's easy to find people with a personal connection to the church.
Yeah, Kani is my customer too.
They're your customers too, of course.
But while everyone seems to know some clergy, or even a cardinal,
What do they say?
You say not important things, of course.
Yeah, they're very careful. They're very careful.
no one, and I mean no one we spoke with, would share any hint of what they'd been told.
When they come here to check their eyes, do they talk about who the next pope might be?
Assolutamente no.
Or what they may have overheard.
Do you hear a lot of chatter, a lot of talk about who the next pope is?
Not too much.
Not too much.
Then again, that might be because they don't actually know anything.
What are they saying?
I don't know.
You can't hear?
They speak soft.
Softly, just whispering.
That's what John Allen, editor of the Catholic news website Crux, is betting on. He says the cardinals aren't the chatty type.
Would they not be overheard or rub up against the public and give away some important information?
Well, this is probably why cardinals weren't hanging out at Starbucks during this period.
So they're not having those conversations over an espresso around the corner or a plate of spaghetti at the corner restaurant?
No, Tony, you and I are having these conversations over a cappuccino or a plate of spaghetti.
The secrecy surrounding the conclave has not stopped people from trying to predict the results. 3 of the major betting markets have taken in more than 19 million in wagers, up 50-fold since the last conclave in 2013, according to The Economist. Not only that, gambling in the eyes of the Catholic Church is, and it may surprise you, fine.
What, if anything, does the church have to say about gambling?
The church says it only becomes sinful if you are spending too much money that you can't take care of yourself or your family.
Not that it's always wise, however.
Since we're on the subject and we've got smoke coming out any time now from the Sistine Chapel, bet you $100 it's black.
And while the Italians here might not know who it will be, they do know who they want the next pope to be, or at least where they want him to come from.
We hope Italian Pope, but
Been a long time.
only the Holy Spirit know.
It has been a long time, and they are really hopeful, the Italians, that they get one of their own after it's been more than a 40-year wait now.
Yeah, I'm betting that we will have a pope today and that a surprise still exists.
Wow.
Am I going out there? Should I not be saying that?
You want to put $100 on it? Apparently, it's just fine in the eyes of the church, according to John Allen. Beautiful live picture of St. Peter's Square. Welcome back to CBS Mornings at 7:30, and welcome back to Rome, overlooking Vatican City. We are watching the rooftop of the Sistine Chapel just behind us, waiting for news of a new pope. And just before 6 a.m. Eastern, after 2 morning votes, it was black smoke once again, signaling that cardinals inside are still deliberating over the identity of the next Supreme Pontiff.
And the selection of a new pope is rich in tradition, and so are the outfits the newly elected leader of the Catholic Church wears. We wanted to know more about those papal vestments, the Pope's official attire, so we visited 2 family-run tailors who have been making the cassocks for a long time. And now they're waiting in anticipation for a new pope to emerge, not just to learn who will be the new pontiff, but also to see if their garment is worn.
For centuries, the papal vestments have been made right here in Rome, along these cobblestone streets.
Grazie.
We visited 86-year-old Raniero Mancinelli in the shop he opened in the 1960s, and it's just steps from the Vatican.
You have worked with 3 different popes?
Giovanni Paolo II, Benedetto XVI e Papa Francesco.
And who is your favorite?
Segreto.
It's a secret, yes.
Now he's hoping he'll get to work with a 4th pope.
He made the 3 cassocks for the next pope and he delivered them to the right place, he said.
Tre size, 3 misure, small, medium, large.
Small, medium, and large. Because you don't know if the pope is going to be small, medium, or large. When we see the new pope stand out on the balcony at St. Peter's Square, will he be wearing one of your cassocks?
Io spero.
You hope. How will you know?
Sarei contentissimo.
I would be very happy, and by looking at it, I would recognize it.
You would know.
Sì.
You know your own work.
Mancinelli is one of 2 well-known papal tailors. The other is the Gammarelli family. How long has your family owned this store?
200 years.
Alessia Gammarelli is the 6th generation of her family to run the store, and she's the first woman. And how many popes has your family tailored for?
8 popes.
I just got the chills. The Pope's basic garment is hand-stitched white wool cassock, sometimes adorned with a burgundy elbow-length cape, something Pope Francis did without. The outfit completed with a white skull cap called a zucchetto. Did things become more simple when Francis was Pope?
Yes, more simple.
And what do you think now for the future?
I don't know. Good question.
While Alessia has seen the images of the papal vestments hanging inside the Vatican's Room of Tears, she can't be sure it's their families until the new Pope greets his faithful for the first time. I bet when the picture came out, you looked closely and said,
Yes,
let me
of
see.
course.
Is that mine? For now, both these papal tailors are awaiting the white smoke just like the rest of us.
Wow.
Pretty extraordinary, right?
What a great
There's
family
so many
tradition.
interesting things, too. There's actually 33 buttons down the front. That's for the 33 years that Jesus was alive.
Wow.
We also learned that they did not deliver any new cassocks this year. They're trying to reuse some of the ones they've had in the past. That's because Pope Francis, of course, was concerned about saving. There's some financial problems going on in the Vatican, which is the next big story we'll be covering.
Saving money, also saving the environment. It's a great example of upcycling, or should we say hand-me-downs. What a beautiful tradition for those families and for the church.
Yes, it is.